Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So I was just thinking about my twins. They just finished nursery school, and well, it emotionally affected me. I'm not good with ends and goodbyes since when I was at school. And thinking about that, it made me think about, why am I feeling this like sorrow, as if it were. I think it's to do with knowing about time passing. Initially with me, this feeling, when I try to find where did I first experience it, it was either when my friend John Sylvester, I found this friend. He was really funny. We were a bit naughty actually, and I was always worried about being too naughty. But it was at Mayfield Comprehensive. So it was like high school, and over, I don't remember which term, but I believe it was over the summer term, he left. He went to Guernsey or Jersey, one of those islands, and I didn't know about this. I always have this recollection of going to the dentist and seeing someone wave from the window, and I always recollect that was the goodbye, even though I couldn't even see who it was waving at me. It could have been nothing to do with me. But I always remember that. But anyway, when I went back to school, he wasn't there. And I remember my friend Neil told me, he'd gone to Jersey or Guernsey or whichever one it was. And there was some joke about he left a banana, because we used to do the gun thing with a banana or something like that. And I tried to make them laugh with it, but really inside I was so sad, and I wanted to somehow reverse time. And that feeling, I couldn't. Yeah, it lasted I don't remember how it lasted, but a long time, a few days, thinking about wanting it to go back. How could I make it go back? I had no control, no power. The only other time I remember, and I don't know which came first, was when my cat Tom, he was ill, very old. My dad took him to be put down. And that same feeling of, oh, now he's gone, now it's finished, before he was alive, now he's dead, those seconds before, and wanting to somehow reverse or get it back and not be able to. And ever since that, though, so I don't know which one came first, that feeling I get when things end, even like when, like I'm watching something for a long time, I get a little bit of that feeling, or when I moved flat, or when I lost, when Entertainment UK finished, I had that whole feeling for about a week of that loss, that wanting to turn back, and that feeling of sorrow. So anyway, I had that with the twins, and it made me think about, maybe it's to do with lost time and the fact that they're growing up, and now, they're so cute, so funny, so into you, and wanting to play with you and tell you love you and cuddle you and kiss you and all these things. And I know that as they go to this school, they meet other friends, those will replace, and they will stop wanting to do those things and grow up and get more mature and miss that, that time when they were like that. So I think that was what the sorrow was about. But it made me worry about, as they grow up in this world, as we see at the moment, whichever generation is trying to get on the ladder, as it were, with everything going wrong, with climate change, with wildfires, with droughts in Western countries, as well as, they've been historically been elsewhere all over the time. It's funny how people are worried in the Western world about all these things now, and thinking about how bad it is, and it's not even really that bad compared to other parts of the world, which we see all the time and we allow to happen because we're human beings with free will. And yet our system and our money and our divisions keep us from helping each other out. We help each other by piecemeal, by making ourselves look good, by charity. Here's a little bit of money, but I want tax back, or I want that. It's a loan. You have to give it back. So you're always kept in perpetual, like these poor countries that have to suffer this all the time. So I'm thinking about my twins. Obviously, as a parent, you can only think about your own children, but obviously I do think about other people's children when I make these pursuits of the truth, and hoping that other people who have the power, that the generations that grow up, listen to these types of things and change their mindsets, and don't want to just keep that wheel turning, that system that's not working running. And I'm thinking about, so you've got drought, you've got wildfires, you've got COVID, you've got climate change, you've got fuel prices going up, you've got the inflation. You know, there seems to be so much happening at the moment. Everything seems to be falling apart. And I made a video about this before, but it seems it's got worse since I made that video. Everything seems to be falling apart. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this would be what, you know, the system crashes, and then people realize, well, wait a minute, why are we, you know, we're allowing human beings to suffer unnecessarily because of this monetary value that we put on things, these price tags on things that were given to us freely, that we found, you know, when we all wake up from our wombs, we find ourselves with this abundance that was given to us, and we should be sharing freely. Maybe the system will crash, and then we realize that we need to find a different way, because this way doesn't work. This way of, you know, recessions and, you know, all the suffering that people, you know, are going to go through now because of money in the system is all avoidable, because we choose. We don't have someone ruling over us. We choose the system, the way we all live. But we've chosen to divide ourselves, to be like cavemen. This is my land, and I will rule over this, and I will rule over you, and you will work for me, and your whole life will be about working. It reminds me of, is it Kips? You know, that's what we've made our existence, this beautiful existence that we've been given, this beautiful place that we found ourselves upon, and we've made it all about striving to earn money. That's what it's all about, your whole existence. You know, I think about my kids and how they have to grow up in this same world that I have to grow up in, worse probably, where they're so beautiful, all these kids, and I worry about in the future, you know, will they end up on the streets? Will they end up, you know, being polluted by the system, by other people, you know, and all that, and then end up miserable or suffering, when I remember them now as these beautiful young children who have so much joy and so much love and so much peace, and, you know, all the children get along with each other. They don't notice the differences because they haven't been taught about them yet. They haven't grown into them. They play with each other, you know. But if you were a Palestinian or a Jewish child, then suddenly, you know, you're playing with each other. Next minute, you're fighting each other in the future. Human beings killing each other in their one existence over a bit of land that no one can own. No one can own. You can't take it with you, as John Lennon said. Everything. The only thing you take with you is what you've done, the legacy you left behind. And there is no honour in killing human beings, in ending the existence that you've been given freely. Don't be fooled by the 1984 or Animal Farm propaganda of, you know, this idea of all you've been taught and that you must follow it, and it must be right because you've been taught. That's what other people have told you. There's nothing intrinsically right about ending someone's life, no matter what reason, no matter what cause. We shouldn't have got to that place in the first place. But we have, because we divided ourselves up before, because the people before us, and, you know, a lot before us, that was their caveman instinct. That's what cavemen do. They possess. They whack people over the head, and this is mine, this is yours. We don't have to be that way. Well, I say cavemen. I may be putting them in a bad light. Maybe the cavemen, you know, were like hippies and they used to live with each other freely. And they didn't have all these restrictions, as my story that I wrote. But I just worry about the children of this time, or previous times, growing up in this world and being as powerless to stop all the suffering that's going on, and the suffering that they're going to have to experience of their whole, you know, their joyous life at this age of 4, of enjoying everything, having fun, and mummy and daddy and love and presents, and, you know, all this freedom. And then for the future to then go to school and to be taught, you know, your brain to be taught, you know, narrowly, and then through media and through friends and all these things. And even your parents telling you now, what is it you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a fucking human being and be free and be able to enjoy and to love it, my fellow human beings. No, what do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be a doctor, you want to be a mechanic, you want to work clean the street, you want to work at McDonald's, blah, 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 blah. It's a job. That's what do you want to be when you grow up? is a money-making scheme. We've put pounds and dollars on ourselves and made us, I mean, for fuck's sake, how can we not see this? But we do see it, and then we go to sleep and we wake up and go back to work and do it again. Our whole existence need not be like this. We don't have, because, you know, you think, well, you have to work because you have to do these things. Yeah, some things have to be done. We need doctors. We need physicians, you know, fire medics. We need, you know, food and farmers and things. But a lot of things we don't really need. We certainly don't need the multiple choice of them that's just out there for competition and for money. And that's a waste of human energy. We could all share the work easily, whatever we're good at or whatever we want to do, and just keep these essential things that are really necessary. We don't need 15 different brands of car and every year they bring out 3 different models for different paychecks. We don't need that. That's a waste. If we change all this mindset of how human beings live singly, where we're one species, imagine what we could do. Imagine what we could achieve. Imagine all the things we would have eradicated, man, now. All the medical things. Because we're all working together. Because we're all fucking human beings. Why wouldn't we want to work together? What's got to this stage where now we see these divisions? That, you know, without even thinking, you have this inside your brain of how you see other people when you meet them. Where's that all come from? Because it wasn't there when you were a 4-year-old, when you were all playing with each other and no one knew that you were Palestinian or Jewish or you were, you know, Irish or English or, you know, whatever the different, you know, Ukrainian or Russian. None of these things. You were children playing with each other lovingly, enjoying, because you're human beings, that then somehow you all grew apart. And have, you know, divided yourselves and now work against each other, not for the benefit of humanity. How can that not be seen? But it is seen. But people still want to see, yes, let's all work together, but let's work in our box, you know. And, you know, companies will still work against each other. Even in the COVID thing, there was lots of different companies. They weren't pooling the information. They weren't sharing because they all want to make the pattern. They all want to make the money, you know, even if it is non-profit. I don't know how many examples we need in life to see that the benefit is us working together. But the problem is, because we're all grown up in this system of division and the way we see things, it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of changing, a lot of getting rid of these things. Maybe the first thing is getting rid of money. Once we get rid of money, because that's restricting us all from helping each other. Because we're all, you know, we can't give everyone money because, you know, then our inflation will go up or down, or whichever way it is, you know. So we let people starve. We let people go cold. We let people die of pneumonia. When the planet has enough energy for fossil fuels and food for everyone. The place that we found ourselves has everything for everyone and more. Take care, take it easy, God bless and peace.